All right, I'm the flat rate master. Today, do you really need to spend big bucks on tool truck screwdrivers? Do you really need Snap-on, Matco, Cornwell, Max screwdrivers? Let's talk about that. First, let's talk about what do you really use a screwdriver for in this industry. Are you taking air filter screws out with a screwdriver or a gun? You know, let's think about it. Now, yes, you can break some stuff with these if you're not careful. But what are we talking about? Talking about not whether or not you need a screwdriver, whether you need to pay big bucks for a screwdriver. So think about it. What do we use it for? Tightening fasteners that are not that tight for the most part. We'll get into that in a little bit. What do we use them for really? Well, if you got one of these, you know, big old flathead, are we seeing a lot of flathead screws in the industry? No, this is a pry bar. So why are we spending a bunch of money for a pry bar? Well, we get a lifetime warranty, right? Again, you know, one, you should use the proper tool, you know, a pry bar. And two, you know, if you don't get them warranted, not my fault. So, do these really do a much better job than, you know, Craftsman, Husky, SK, any of the other brands? No. I mean, honestly, these are nothing special. You know, when it comes down to it, do you like the handle, the tips? You know, some of them, yeah, are a little better, but for the most part, you don't need to spend the big bucks on a screwdriver. We're not going to use them that much. Once you get into this business, these don't get used much. The number one reason I use this screwdriver is to stick in a rotor to torque the CV axle nut. That's it. That's about all I use this for. This screwdriver I will use for underbelly screws on BMWs and Volkswagens that are like 3/4 turn and they're out. Doesn't make sense to pull a, you know, screw gun out for 3/4 of a turn. So I use a regular screwdriver, but does this make it better? No. A couple screwdrivers that may come in handy are like these long monsters for deep, dark places. And this Snap-on cabinet screw, I'll give you the part number on this screwdriver. It's a cabinet screwdriver from Snap-on, real narrow tip, long, pretty stout. It is a 7/32 tip, SGD 4120B. I like this screwdriver. It comes in handy, especially for hose clamps in weird places. Maybe worth it for you, maybe not. This, do the same thing. Tip's a little bigger, but it'll do the same thing. Way cheaper. The only thing it does a little better though is when you're trying to pry, this one has a little more flex than this one. So something to consider, but not enough worth the money. Now, one screwdriver that I will 100% endorse, it's not very expensive, it's like $15 on Amazon, is the Vessel impacted screwdrivers. JIS standard, they're not expensive, they're not on the tool trucks. I will grab this over every tool truck screwdriver out there. Bar none, I use it on every Phillips screwdriver I touch that's not on a screw gun. You're doing idle air control valves on Hondas, Toyotas, this is your best friend. Yes, it is an impacting screwdriver. When you hit it, it turns. I take out rotor screws on Hondas all the time with this. My last one lasted 2 years. I love this screwdriver. I've converted a couple other guys in the shop to these screwdrivers. Other than the big Phillips, that's all the screwdrivers I really use. Very rare I pull any of the other flatheads out. Very rare I pull any of the other Phillips out. So why do you need to spend a bunch of money on expensive screwdrivers? You really, really don't. If you're going to spend that kind of money, get you a screw gun with a set of bits. Much better investment. One, it's going to be faster. Two, you can use it for other things. And I'm not trying to make this an ad for Milwaukee, you know, whatever screw gun of your choice. I'm just saying this. But I don't even use it for hose clamps. I will use a socket like this, a little adapter, or an extension and a 8mm, 1/4 inch, whatever, and I will use this to tighten a hose clamp if I'm using a worm gear style. I don't sit there and tighten it with a screwdriver. Don't waste your money on the tool trucks for screwdrivers. If you're going to spend money on the tool trucks, get something much more worthwhile. You know, instead of snap-on wrenches, snap-on ball joint press, you know, a ratchet, that kind of stuff. Don't waste your money on screwdrivers. I'm sure some of you have wondered, because they're always in the background, these are gear wrench. These are Torx screwdrivers. I don't use these either. I thought it was going to be a good idea, but I didn't figure I'd use it enough to justify a tool brand, so I bought gear wrench. You know how often I use them? Every now and then, when I've got an air cleaner assembly on the toolbox, I'll take a mass airflow sensor out with them. That's about the extent of it, and that's not very often. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell notification so you get notified when I put out a new video. You didn't like the video? You disagree with me? Well, give me a thumbs down. Let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.